Hello, welcome to the next edition of the Q&A Saturday. Today I'm going to be obviously answering all your questions, welcome back, but also I'm going to be showing you how I make my brownies. Now, obviously last time it was my healthy dish, but this is for definite indulgence. And for the next episode of the Q&A, I'd like your suggestions as to what style of cooking I should do for the next episode, which will be obviously at the end of the next month. So any thoughts and feedback would be great on that. On that, let's get started. I'm going to show you all the ingredients that I'm using and we'll go from there. So I'm going to put the exact measurements in the description down below. But this is plain flour. I've got lots of caster sugar here, cocoa powder, lots and lots of butter, dark chocolate, milk and white chocolate, and 6 eggs. But that should be everything for what you're going to be needing for this brownie recipe.
So the first bit of this video will be me doing the Q&A if you're just here for the Q&A. The second half of the video, which I will leave a time mark in the description below, that will show you where the brownies are being made and the step-by-steps on how to make them, and also, like I previously said before, it will also have all of the weights and measurements that you need for the ingredients used in this brownie. I hope you enjoy this video, and let's go.
So I might as well start with the first question now. This is from Ninja King, James. Very good to hear from you. Would I do more cooking in my videos? I think this episode might be a little bit of a giveaway, but yes, I am looking to do more cooking in the videos because the last one was very well received by you guys. You quite enjoyed it when I was showing off my cooking skills. Well, skills. But yes, I'll definitely be doing more than that. And to quickly answer your question, Casey, can you have a chocolate brownie? Ask me again in June 21st. Honestly, best news ever. Fingers crossed, make it to June 21st and we can just run about and get drunk. What does wrestling mean to me as a wrestler and a fan? Okay, so wrestling to me, it's an outlet for me. I have quite a bit of called baggage, and wrestling is one of the few things that I do that releases some of it. I can just forget about it in that moment. I can just continue as normal. But also I love putting on performances. I love putting on shows, and I love to watch shows. So when I see people just zooming around the ring, doing wrestling, showing off the techniques, showing off the skills, it's just marvellous to me. It's marvellous that there are people out there who are willing to put their bodies on the line in such a very complicated, very, very prestigious sport. And yes, I know it's sports entertainment, but people hurting themselves, people slamming themselves onto the apron, onto the mat, into the ring posts, it's all real. You can't fake somebody getting hurt, and people do get hurt in these matches, and the fact that you go into the ring and you're pretty much saying, yeah, I'm okay being hurt, I'm okay to do this match and to just put on the show of a lifetime, I think there's something admirable about that, and that's what I want to be able to replicate in my matches as well. I want to be able to put on a performance for people, to be able to inspire others to do what I do, because there are people out there, they just need that spark, and once they have that spark, that's what's going to get them to want to do wrestling as well. Do you feel nervous before a match, and what's your pre-warm-up before a match? So pre-warm-up I do, so obviously I do my regular warm-up. I get myself, all energized and ready to go, flexible, got the blood pumping around the system so I'm not getting any cramps and such, but that's only one half. When you're wrestling in this sort of environment, you've got to be able to put across your character. So I may sound a bit crazy here, but I start trying to convince myself that in this particular moment, in this match, from the moment I walk through the door to the moment that I come back out of it, I am Remus Kane. And I'm going to do everything in my power to show off the skills, show off what I've got, and be able to put across that match, but also to show off just this maniacal individual that people have come to hate and for some to love. That's what I do. There are some crazy stories, well, not so crazy, just very strange stories, such as Jake the Snake Roberts. He just used to sit behind the stage at the curtains, and he'd just sit there with a cigarette in hand, and he'd smoke it all, and when it was his time to go out, he'd pull off the last drag, throw it away, and then he'd go out with his patented snake, and he'd do what he does best. There apparently are more crazy routines, but just from listening to some of the stories that I've heard in wrestling, that one stands out to me. But that's my pre-warm-up, not the smoking. I don't smoke cigarettes, at least. What would I say are some underrated wrestlers? Right, Kagetsu, and she's from Stardom Wrestling in Japan, and even though she's retired, I'm looking back at her old matches and I go, Jesus Christ, this lady right here is one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen. You know what? I'd be lying if I didn't say that there are a lot of similarities between her character that she used to show and the character that I'm showing in Remus Kane. The similarities are just off the wall, except for the whole Satanism. She did what she wanted, she didn't care, she had her own faction, and she was just such a mega heel. But she was so... nobody ever heard of her outside of Stardom, but she had such talent that was just... you could easily see her on some of the grandest stages of them all, but she never got the credit that she was due. Sure, she had lots of title reigns in Stardom alone. She's an absolutely awesome wrestler, and if you ever get the chance to come across some of her matches, watch them. Honestly, the best watches that you'll ever see in your life. She went a step further than what I do. She actually... kayfabe. Let's just get this in mind here. She used to take her rivals and she used to hang them, rope and all, from the side of a balcony or any sort of elevated place, and then she'd kick them down the stairs. That's how much of a villain this person was, in that she's quite happy to just hang you there by the neck and just show you off to the rest of the world. She did not care. And she was absolutely brilliant. She was always viewed as the final boss in Stardom in the women's division, which was what they were all about. Some of the other ones. Christian. When you think of Edge and Christian, you know just instantly Edge has had the better career between him and Christian. Christian, phenomenal worker, phenomenal performer, knows how to cut a promo, knows how to conduct himself as one of the best wrestlers there are, but I don't think he's ever got the credit that he deserves for the amount of effort and work that he's put in. Anybody remember the feud between him and Randy Orton? Absolute gold. I fell in love with him a long time ago as a wrestler, and it's just a shame he's never had the credit he was supposed to be given. Another one I'd say, for some of you who may not know or may know, Bam Bam Bigelow. No. For a man his size, he's like the Keith Lee of his time. He wasn't doing any backwards somersaults or star somersaults or stuff like that, but he was a very athletic guy despite his size, and he's only ever had 2 titles under his belt, but he never had, unless it was the other person involved who was phoning it in, he never had a bad match. And he always managed to put on the best matches that you can possibly have, and you never felt as if you were watching a slugfest, just a snooze fest with this guy. He would just go in, have the best matches, and leave. And it's a shame you're never given more recognition than what he got. That's what I think. Last one I'd say, which I suppose my character is a little bit inspired from just because of how unhinged this person is Brian Pillman. Now, congratulations to Brian Pillman Jr. and getting into All Elite Wrestling and slowly becoming a stable of All Elite Wrestling, but Brian Pillman, the original guy, brilliant in his promos, in his work, in his cinematics. Brilliant. You watched him, and you weren't sure if he was actually real or not. You weren't sure if what he was doing was actually real, whether he was going to shoot someone, whether he was going to kill someone. Brian Pillman brought along this intensity that nobody else at his time ever had, and it scared a lot of people. And that is just something to be incredibly admiring of. He passed away far before he should have, which is a shame. Who knows what would have happened if he was still alive, but honestly, one of the best performers that there is. And those are just a few. There are plenty more. I think there are loads of underrated wrestlers out there, but if I were to go through all of them, I'd be here all day, and that's not fun for anyone. Do I compare myself to Matt Hardy for my wrestling gimmicks? No, I don't. What Matt Hardy does is he's got multiple gimmicks, each one wildly different from the other. And you could say, oh well, I do something similar. I have Remus Kane, I have Belial. Yeah, but that's all I have. Remus Kane is my main staple when it comes to gimmicks. Belial is like the upgrade. He's the one where if Remus Kane messes up, Belial comes out to sort it out. That's his role in all of this, because he is the ultimate leader in all of this. When he's not around, it's Richard. When he is around, everybody listens. There's only ever one gimmick shown at a time, and it's just Remus most of the time. It is just Remus. I don't have 72 different gimmicks, and that's not a dig at Matt Hardy at all, because he's able to make it work. I think he's brilliant when it comes to that. I just don't see myself being very similar. But yes, that's my answer. Can we have an insight to the origins of Remus Kane? I don't want to give it away. Not entirely. Because I want people to be able to figure this out on their own. Some people do know. For those who don't know, I'll give you a little history lesson. The myth stands, and this is for Rome, so you may know where I'm going already if you know your history. The legend states that at the founding of Rome, there were two brothers, Romulus and Remus. And both of them had come together to form this nation-state ruled by monarchs called Rome. It was held by different families and such, but they needed one person to be king first. Romulus and Remus could not decide who would be the king first. And Romulus, as the name Roman intends, Romulus won, and he killed Remus. And that's it for what's written. But if you were to take that into a real context, say all of this did happen, what's to say that Remus didn't die? What's to say that Remus may have been injured, close to death, and he was visited by some force, by some demonic entity that knew he could use Remus, but he couldn't use him in the body that he had. He was dying. And say Remus was given a power to live forever, but not in the same body for a long time. After all, bodies do age. It's a sad reality of life. But I'll leave the rest of you to think on that. That's all you're getting for now, because there is a lot more to it, and that's just a part of it.
I would just like to say that we've just managed to pass over the 50 subscriber benchmark, which I'm very happy about. Thank you all for supporting this channel and for giving the views and the likes that you do. Every little bit helps, and I enjoy putting out this content for you. And I look forward to doing that for a very, very long time.
So what you want to do first with your chocolate brownie is you want to melt the butter and the dark chocolate together on a medium heat, just so you don't burn the chocolate and the butter, and also you just get to melt it all together and just get it into a nice liquidy state. In another bowl, you add the eggs and the sugar together, and you whisk it together until it is pale and fluffy, which I will show you once I have done the whisking. Now remember, when you're whisking, you don't want to do it slowly. That's not going to help the process here. You've got to do it quite fast, and you just got to keep going. Going as hard as you can. The whisk really does help here. It'll just mix the ingredients very well. But if you've got a home whisk, so one that you just link up to the mains and just press go, that's also useful as well. And yeah, it's a bit better than the manual, but I prefer to do it manual. So I'll come back to you in a second. So once you have whisked your eggs and sugar, which should look like this, by the way, you can see how it's pale. You can also see how it's starting to form up a little bit. You then, once the butter and the chocolate is fully melted through, as you can see here, you then want to add that to the egg and sugar mixture. And now that you've done that, you just want to get this all nice and mixed together. Just give it a few whisks to start with, and then remove the whisk, and then you want to use your spatula, which I will show you in a second. So here it is, your spatula, and all you want to do is just fold it in like so. Just so then you're getting all of the stuff from the bottom mixing with the stuff at the top, and it's just a nice circular motion. You're just bringing everything up, you're scraping along the bottom, and you're just bringing it to the top like so until it's all mixed together, which I'll show you in a second. Okay, so here you go, you can see that it's all nice and mixed in, and now the next step is to add in your plain flour and your cocoa powder. Now I've already pre-sieved these, so then I don't have to go through that process, so I highly recommend that you do sieve these. And then same thing again, you're just going to fold this through like so. You just get it all mixed through, and then I'll show you what it looks like at the end. Okay, so here is how it's supposed to look after you've done successfully folding it in. It's at this point you're going to have to resist the urge to take your finger, just dip it in there, and then eat it, because you could just eat it like this. However, it is very unsanitary, so please don't. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to turn these into chunks. This is optional. You could just put it straight into the oven like this, provided you put it into a tray, which I'll show you in a second. But I'm going to do this with some milk and white chocolate chunks just sprinkled about in there, which I will show you how to do that. So here we go. As you can see, I've got my milk chocolate and my white chocolate out, as well as a very big knife. The reason I've showed it out like this is to show you the difference in how you should cut them depending on the size. With the milk chocolate, you can see it's quite thin, so it doesn't have a lot of mass to it, as it is already. So all you need to do with these ones is just cut each individual piece in half, and that's more than enough because the rest of it will melt into the brownie mixture. With ones that are a bit thicker, as you can see like this, if you were to just cut one of these in half, it's clearly not the same size as those. However, you can just cut them into 4 pieces as well. Make sure that when you're doing that you have a very nice sharp knife, and don't rush this because it is a hard object you're cutting through, and you may end up hurting yourself if you decide that you want to hack at it like a madman. So yep, I will be putting these into the brownie mixture once I've cut them all. So now that is all in, all you're going to do is just give it a little mini stir, just so you get all of the chunks evenly incorporated into the mixture. Nothing too strenuous, just so it's nice and mixed. So the next bit is pretty simple. You want your deep baking tray. You want to cut yourself a slice of baking sheet for this, and you want to coat the bottom and the sides of the pan in a bit of butter, just so then it holds the baking sheet in place. So here you go. It's a little bit messy, yeah, but it'll do the job. It's all nice and in and ready to go, and all that needs to be done is to just add that mixture into there. Yes, in you go. That's nice and lovely. So as you can see, it's all nice and in. It's ready to be baked, and all you need to do is have an oven preheated at 160 degrees and just plonk it straight in there, which we are going to do now. See you in a bit. Now with the brownie, this can take anywhere between 30 and 40 minutes. So you have to check it as soon as it reaches the 25-minute mark. And the way that you check it, which I will show you in the video later, is you take either a wooden stick, and one that you can get for kitchen utensils, or you take a knife, which I'm going to be using for this, and you stick it into the center of the brownie. You take it out, and if it's clean and very little residue comes off on it, it's ready. If there's stuff coming off of it, it's not ready and it needs to be baked for a little bit longer. This is not cooking, this is science. And if you mess any part of this up, you mess all of it up. Just remember that.
Just remember to use this bit for cleaning up around your kitchen area, because it's going to get very, very messy.
So it's been 25 minutes and I'm just going to check it using my knife just to see if it's ready. Just looking at it, I can tell it's not ready, but I'm going to just show this as an example. Just place it in there, pull it out. As you can see, it's brought out quite a lot of gunk. When it's ready, it won't do that. So put that on the side there. And I'd say leave it for another 10-15 minutes. So it's been over, I'd say it's been about 40 minutes now. So I'm just going to show you what I mean when it comes off nice and clear. So as you can see from that, very little's come off, just a few crumbs, which is about what you're looking for with this, which is about perfect. So I'm going to get this out of the tray and I'm going to show you what it should look like once you cut it up. There you go. Here is the finished product. As you can see, it's nice and thick, and as you can see right there, quite moist. So this should be, you should be able to taste the chunks in this once you're done. It's very, very rich, very heavy with the chocolate, but it's absolutely indulgent. And once you have one, and Richard can attest to this, you'll find that you're having 4 or 5 of these massive slices. Then again, there's hardly anything on him, so he needs the extra. He needs the extra material. So sorry, Richard, I actually love you. So yeah, that's all there is for the brownie. Yes. Thank you very much for joining me on this Q&A Saturday. Not sure what the next one will be. I'll wait to see what you guys would like me to make. And if you leave any more questions down in the comments below, let me know how you like this video. Don't forget to leave a like, share and subscribe if you have not already. Click the bell icon so you can stay updated with all future videos. And can't wait to see you all in person yet again come June 21st. I'm counting down the seconds. I can't wait for everything to get back to normal. See you all in the next one.